home gym, man cave, storage space. All this in this beautiful 30 by 65 metal building with the lean-to. Let's walk through what it took to build it, all the features, and the price on it. Let's go. Welcome back, Pack. This is Abilene from WolfSteel Buildings, and we're out here in Abilene, Texas. A little bit more on the west side of Fort Worth, Texas. It was like a 2-hour drive, Ed?
Yes.
But we're out here, and it's a beautiful 30 by 65 metal building that you're seeing behind me with a lot to talk about. We got colored spray foam, which is black in the inside. We got a storage space, man cave, a home gym. Then we got some cedar encasement touches to it. Insulated, beautiful flush panel door. There's a lot to talk about, and I'm gonna talk about everything. So it's gonna be a long video, and you don't wanna miss out, okay? Now, before we get to that, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Follow us on all our social media channels, which is definitely on Facebook, definitely on Instagram, definitely on YouTube, which you're definitely watching, and our TikTok channel. So now, before we do the tour, just know that we're also going to be doing the pricing, okay? Everybody wants to know the pricing. I'm not going to talk about the pricing. Marketing is going to help us out. You're going to be seeing the pricing come out. I'm going to be focused on the features and what we built here. And at the end, Ed is going to give us a little bit of a storyline of how this all came about. And so that's going to be at the end of this. So you guys ready to go through the tour?
I'm ready, man.
All right, let's get this one going. Now, before we get into the tour, I want to talk about a specific, especially for this project, because there's a lot of customizations that happen in this project, from understanding the type of doors that we have, understanding the elevation, especially for the foundation, understanding how we're going to accomplish this complex build to fit with everything that they want, especially here, because they really have the gate to access through the porch area that you're going to see on the drone footage. You have to be through the inside because there's a gate here, okay? So this is all planned out really, really well. And so the word is planned. That's what I want to talk about. I want to talk about our planning department, okay? When you decide to say you want to do a project with WolfSteel Buildings with us, in our contract, we actually have a page that is a timeline, okay? This timeline explains the timeline that it can take for you in each department. That will be like the permitting department, that will be the planning department, that will be the concrete department, the execution of the concrete work and the site prep work, and then the building, and then any accessories, including spray foam, overhead doors, which come afterwards. In that timeline, there is one that says planning department. And I know we've had a lot of questions like, what is that? Or what do you guys do in the planning department? Usually that timeline is going to be from 1 to 3 weeks, okay? It just depends the complexity. Red iron weld-up buildings will be on the max 3 weeks. Tubular builds can be from 1 to 2 weeks. This type of project actually went from like 2 to 3 weeks. I'm going to explain why. So when you go into the planning department, what's happening there is that you should have already gone through all the permits, if there is permits. So the planning department is putting everything together. They're like, okay, what were the restrictions of the permitting department? Give me all the line items, because a lot of permitting departments will have a lot of line items, such as inspections that are needed, such as certain requirements that of heights and stuff that have to be modified after selling the agreement. Has square footage restrictions. All that is being assessed from the permitting department. Then at the same time, we're also calling 811 and verifying to make sure there's no lines under here that we can break through. So that's extremely important and something to really plan on. Oh, okay, well, 811, come out here, misdig, check out where are the utility lines. And there's one thing that doesn't get checked in is septic systems. So there's a conversation between our planning department to make sure, hey, do you have any septic systems? Where is it? That's where the site plan comes into place. The site plan is a map where, like, where are we placing that building? And I need you to mark if there's any poles, anything that you want us to be very careful about, especially a septic system. That is all done. And I tell you this because I've gone through those issues where we ran over a septic system and we had to replace it. It's construction. It happens. From there, the new policies changed, like, hey, we need to know where the septic system is and every line to make sure. So that gets all planned out in the planning department during the site plans. Then at the same time, the planning department also has another thing going on, and that's getting everybody in line, okay? When our clients spoke with our salesperson, they say, hey, you know what? I want the special door, I want this special encasement, I need gutters, I need all this. We have our procurement department getting all that, all those agreements written down with our teams, like, hey, this is what we're gonna need to do here, this is the specific dimensions, this is the type of stain that we need on the cedar, this is the type of color, the specific color that is needed for this specific project. All that is being done. At the same time, another team is also working on, and it's our design department. Our design team is designing the whole picture. Like, how is it gonna look? The measurements. What is the height of the drop? Where are the transom windows gonna be placed? Where are the doors gonna be placed? The height of the framing materials. All that is being planned out by our design team. And then on top of that, also our foundation plans, okay? And then also, engineering, okay? So engineering plans, all that is also being sourced at that time. So if you can imagine, that's a lot that gets happened, and that is all happening within 1 to 3 weeks. Sometimes it can extend a little bit longer, but just keep in mind that is the whole process. And big shout out to our planning department that you guys do a lot. You guys are what makes this process a lot smoother, because what we do is, like we always say, we build on paper and we just come and just execute on site. And the biggest thing is, we don't want to be on site and then there's missing materials, there's missing items, because then it delays and it extends the cost of everything and everybody's unhappy. That's why we're building almost around like 10 to 12 projects a week. And that's just happening because of our system of how we have everything organized and planned out. I hope you learned a little bit on the planning department, but I know it's been a question that's been asked, why does it take so long? Why can't I just get execution? Well, that's the reason why. There's all that is being planned out. So when we get out here, boom, 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 boom.
It's time.
Okay?
It's go time.
So other than that, guys, you guys ready for the tour?
Let's get going, man. Woo!
Let's go. Currently shopping for a Texas metal building. WolfSteel is Texas built for Texans. We don't just build structures. We build for hobbyists, business owners, car enthusiasts, or anyone who needs or wants a custom metal building where things get done. Red iron or tubular, bolt up or weld up, site prep, concrete, demolition, insulation, gutters, custom doors, cedar add-ons, masonry. WolfSteel does it all in one place, so your project gets done the right way with control. We're control freaks here. And here's the difference. Our clients don't choose us because we're the cheapest. They choose us because every project goes through multiple checks, and we don't hand it over until it's done right. Don't take it from us. Take it from our endless reviews. Keep in mind, we do not service outside of our service area. We do not provide just materials, and we do not provide just metal building kits. We don't do standalone concrete or standalone spray foam. We do full turnkey Texas metal building projects. If you fall within our service area, contact us today. If not, I hope that our channel helps you with your future metal building project. So we have a 30 wide, and that is where you see the peak. This is the width, 65 foot long. And then obviously we have the lean-to, which is gonna be 10 foot wide, and then it's gonna be 65 foot long. The eaves of the main structure right here, we're sitting at 12 foot. It feels tall though.
Yeah, it does.
And it's because of the elevation here. So it's 16 foot tall. So overall, we have a square footage of like, because it's 10 and 30, this is 40 by 65. That's what the concrete foundation was done. I was looking here, we have a lot of clay grounds here, and well, at least in here is a lot of clay.
Yes.
Remember, clay, we call it black gumbo or whatever they call it here. Clay, the negative part of clay grounds is foundation problems, okay? And that's because the foundation's constantly moving. So what we did in this project, we did internal cross beams to help reinforce, because the foundation is going to be moving because of the ground that we have. So that allows the foundation to just shift and stay as tight as possible, not just having exterior beams, specifically for this type of ground that we have out here through all north of Dallas or north of Texas.
Yes.
The foundation, I know right now you're seeing the price for this foundation. Again, this includes the interior beams, all the notches. We do the vapor barrier, so that way no moisture is coming from the ground or from the concrete up into your building. Again, we were talking about a 30 by 65, 12 foot to the eaves. This is black for the trims, and is Quaker gray for 20, because this is 29 gauge. So Quaker gray for our gray, which is the darker gray.
And it looks really awesome. I mean, the combination on it is just...
I know James is gonna say, yeah, this is the beautiful colors because his building was the same color, and that building's also on our channel. And then we got the gutters and downspouts. So the gutters is gonna be black as well, and the gutters is gonna be made out of a different material. So for gutters, we're gonna have definitely black. It won't match your gutters for aluminum, although these are steel or sheet metal. And this is aluminum gutters. Okay, this is our standard gutters that we offer for our tubular builds. They look amazing. This is what's common in residential. One thing to keep in mind is that, again, the color won't exactly match, but you can see here it still looks really good.
Awesome. And then another thing I wanted to touch is the importance of those gutters, because I know some clients sometimes opt out for gutters. What I guess the importance is, keeping that water away from the building, right?
That is correct. So we have a vertical roof. That's the only roof we offer. Just all the water just runs to the side. You're not holding any debris up there. Long term affects your screws because these are self-tapping screws. Through time, they're gonna wear out. So you want to extend the lifetime of those screws, especially on your roof. If we didn't have the gutters and downspouts, we would have a trench going right along the whole foundation, which ultimately weakens your foundation because then you're having like a whole trench, which you can see here how the water, this rock here is trying to protect it, because you can see here. Does that make sense?
Yep.
It's very important to do two things once we're done. Okay, one is definitely control your water flow, and the downspouts is really, the gutters and downspout is a great way to go. We've seen clients where they connect a drain pipe and get it really out there. Number two, get landscape in here, so that way there's no erosion. There's not a lot of water that's just puddling around here or making moves, and especially in clay grounds where there's just going to be a lot of movement. So the more you have grass, the more that you can protect your foundation, or even some sort of maybe rocks, something like that to maintain your foundation nice and compact.
Awesome. And then I know, talking about gutters, man, I just keep seeing some windows up there, man. Talk to us about those, because those are, man, they're freaking beautiful.
Yeah, that's what we call a transom window. Basically, it's a window that is just to give lighting. You can't open it, you can't close it. It's just a solid transom window. These are double pane windows. These are 29 inches by 10 inches. Keep in mind, you can get different sizes. We got these for our client. They're custom orders, so during the planning department, it could just extend a little bit longer because these are very custom ordered. And I know we have 3 on this side and then 3 on the other side. Wow. This is for natural lighting. I love these windows. I was speaking with our client. We were having a great conversation, and she mentioned what I would have done different is I would have gone bigger on my transom windows. Like, I still love them. I love them a lot, but I would just gone maybe a little bit more bigger. So just something to keep in mind. This is about a 2x1. And then right here, you can see we got the base trim. So the base trim here is a trim that is additional, and you always see that line item there. And what it does is, concrete's just never going to be flat. Just keep that in mind. Your concrete's never going to be flat. There's always going to be some sort of dips. It's almost impossible to do a nice flat concrete. If we didn't have the base trim, your sheet metal has to be in a straight line, like it has to. So if there's any dips in your concrete, the critters can come in through one of these ribs, okay? Because it's corrugated metal. Wow. We set the base trim as our way of leveling, and then from there we set all the panels on top of it. So that way no critters can come in. You can see not even the dirt.
Not even the dirt can go in.
Do keep in mind all our screws are color matching screws.
Yes.
Again, that gives the building a big aesthetic. I know out there are galvanized screws, and you can see them like sore pimples, you could say.
Yeah.
Not in a bad way, right? I've had pimples before. So just keep in mind that the color matching screws really makes your building really stand out, because it makes the aesthetics a lot better. And I know you're looking at something beautiful right here.
I was gonna ask you about that. Abdul, talk to us about this door. What size is it? Because from what I see, you're about 7 feet, right? 6'5" around there.
I'm 8 foot tall, man.
8 foot. What is the size on this door?
No, I'm like 5'8", 5'9".
You're adding in
6 foot. Yeah, keep adding that extra inch. This is a 10 wide, 12 foot tall. And then this is our flush panel design, okay? It's a beautiful door. I love this type of door. Now, one thing to keep in mind is if you're gonna do a flush panel, we can only do it insulated, okay? This one is insulated, the R10. There's 2 insulations. Well, there's 3 types of doors you can get for overhead. You can get a non-insulated door, which basically has nothing no backing behind it. You can get the R6.8, I believe, which is insulated, but it has vinyl backing. And then you can get the R10, which is insulated as well, but it's got the steel backing. To me, the steel backing is definitely worth it compared to the vinyl, especially for longevity. But if you're gonna get a flush panel design, since there's no corrugation here, this is required that you get some sort of insulation on this type of door. Awesome. If not, you would see a lot of oil canning, you would see a lot of strains and stuff like that, which is very common for sheet metal. But because there's a there's insulation, that allows it to be nice and flush, and it looks nice and clean with very minimal oil canning. So that is a requirement. Again, it's got all our seal here. Now you can see here that we have a step down, and from the drone footage, you can see the little gutter that we did, the downspout draining all the water onto the lean-to. So this is what we call a step down lean-to connection, okay? So the step down here is from 12 to 10, and then from 10, drop into 8 foot, okay, at the eaves. And you can see that we continue the panels where it still looks like it's all one flush. There's no break in between. And that's the beauty of vertical panels. Again, there is the option where you can do a horizontal paneling, but this is the upgraded of having the panels vertical. I love the aesthetics.
It just looks very, very sharp.
And then our client has a nice landscaping around their building. This is what they're facing at from their home. They're facing something really beautiful. So this lean-to is a way for you to basically get more space, more square footage at a cost-effective method, okay? The main structure is 30. The lean-to is 10 foot wide, which is basically a 40 wide overall. If we would have done just one single rectangle 40 by 65, the price might have risen about 20 to 25% more because of labor, a different type of construction on the trusses and the columns. But since our client was saying, you know what, we need a home gym, we need a section for storage, a section for man cave. Then the lean-to is always going to be a great way of separating it, because you're still going to do the wall, so might as well, where the columns are landing at the 30-foot mark, you can use those columns as a wall, and you're going to see the inside.
It's beautiful, man. The cedar accents, encasements, but it's awesome. Wow.
So we've seen a lot of our clients get really creative with having accents on their builds. So earlier this week we were in a white, black with cedar door, like right in the front, just boom, the first thing popped out. I know we posted it, we got a lot of likes, so people love it. So an accent that stands out compared to your normal wall panels is always going to make a difference on your build. And here is what just happened here. We got the cedar encasement around into their porch. But then again, what I like about this project, because it's not as common that we get this, is like our client wanted a porch area. So something where like they can kind of like hang out, chill, but it's open.
Yeah.
And then we got the storage space here, right?
Yes.
And we're gonna look at the other one, which is, you know, just storage, just somewhere to put your stuff.
Awesome.
So this is the open space, and you can see here how we trimmed it all out, and the aesthetics is really nice. And then obviously, well, we got the nice cedar encasement. So an encasement is different than a cedar post. A cedar post would be basically sustaining the same post up in the column, okay? Encasement is just in case. There's steel tubes supporting the whole trussing up there. Inside of this, we came back and we wrapped it around with cedar and then stained it.
Awesome. And so this is 12 gauge framing, right? Yes.
This is all 12 gauge framing, so it comes with a 20-year warranty on the frame. Again, one of the beauty things about tubular buildings in general is that the frame is made out of steel, but it's dipped into like chocolate. It's kind of like dipping strawberries into chocolate, okay? It's dipped into zinc, like a zinc coating. that protects it from rusting, which is what's that's the process called galvanization, galvanized framing.
Awesome.
Okay, so that's why it comes with the 20-year warranty.
Awesome. Now, before we get into that main cave, I'm seeing something right here that just makes this building stand out. Abel, talk to us about this awesome freaking door.
Yeah, so this is a glass overhead door. It is insulated door, but just keep in mind, because it's glass, it's not going to insulate as well as like another type of overhead door that doesn't have basically glass. But it's still insulated, and it's still really, and the beauty of where it's placed is that there's no sun hitting it directly. Okay, it shines, it's reflective. From the inside, it looks beautiful out there. This is a 9x8.
Wow.
But definitely a glass door is gonna cost you a lot more than a 9x8 like standard overhead door that doesn't have glass. Just keep that in mind. And then you can do different types of tints. Now do keep in mind here, like this is how we do our work, which is one thing I'm really proud of. We fabricate our own tubular buildings. We custom order all our trims to make sure that we have as minimal seams as possible. Okay, so everything is custom ordered. That also happens during the planning department. During the planning department, the whole material order is also every single trim is exactly ordered. Okay, so here we have obviously a J trim to redirect any water to come out here, but then we have a U trim. The standard industry uses like an L trim here, and so we would need to be bolting, so you would see a lot of screws all the way around. I'm not a fan of it. I'm not a fan of it because you see a lot of oil canning, and your door, especially when we put beautiful doors like this, we want to match it with the trim, adding that nice aesthetic where you don't see screws, if that makes sense. Yep. And this U trim also does a job. So because we're now doing J trim, the water is directing here. When we had an L trim, the water would still fall behind this here. It would still come out as long as you did the notch detail. But if you didn't do the notch detail, that's where water can also come back inside the structure. So we never had the problem because we did our own notch detailing, but we've had clients that did their own concrete, didn't do their notch detailing. Then the L trim is just gonna get water. And I know that if you're checking out some of the Facebook groups where people talk about their metal buildings, that's one of the #1 problems out there, and is water. And that's what we love about what we do and why we do our own concrete work. It's just we control all that. Look at that lighting, man. The client did their own electrical. We definitely got our client this door, which is a nice, beautiful insulated door, residential door.
Yes. And this was this painted, or did we order it?
No, it's painted. No, it was already ordered that way.
It was ordered like that?
Yes.
Wow.
We offer this door specifically that we can custom order. However, in most cases, we highly recommend that if you want to get your own door, you can get it from like Home Depot, Lowe's here in Texas. Highly recommend it because there's so many different doors that you can get, so many. So sometimes we highly recommend our client, just get your own door, but make sure you have it on site before we get to the job site. Because that allows us to keep flowing, and we can frame it exactly like that. And that goes back again to our planning department, where we ask those things, hey, can you send me the specs of the doors to make sure that we're planning accordingly for it? So that way we already send the specs by the time our builders are here. They already already know what we're gonna be doing here. And there's no like, well, you know, I don't know. I think I'm missing like you know, a frame for it, or a bolt for it, or whatever we need to do to make sure that we make it work.
I see.
Okay. And I'm stressing a lot about this because I know it's been, I'm managing a lot of this kind of things. And this is what, the more I can educate our clients, the more it's going to be a better experience for all of us, you know? So the main structure, you can see the panel is coming down here. Okay. So if you're going to get like an enclosed section in the tubular metal build, you're always going to see this panel like inside here on one wall.
I see.
And then on because all the exterior has to show the panel color.
I see.
The interior is usually white, just no color to it. Okay. And that's actually really, this is another thing that's, I know it's been asked a lot, and we can come back over here just to quickly explain. The back of and it's hard to see here, but the back of this trim here is always going to be white. And so it's really hard to like, there's just no way to color this back in here. It's going to be white, and it's around your windows, it's around your doors. That is something that I know we've had some clients say, hey, I want that to not show white because I got black. Well, you can see the white here.
Yes.
You can see it. Mm-hmm. That's just nature. That's just nature. I know there's a specific trim that can try to hide it even more. But that trim is really hard to do, especially if it falls like right here. There's a rib here to even install it. That's why we don't use that trim. So just letting you guys know, like that's just standard for how we, you know, how our panels come and the way it's rolled and formed.
I see.
But if you're always going to enclose the inside, this is always, you're going to see the panel, which I like, by the way. It looks really cool.
Yeah, it makes it freaking stand out, yeah.
And since the client insulated, these exterior walls that are touching the outside are the ones that we insulated, since this is also insulated.
I see.
I know, right?
And you always bang it.
Always got to bang it, man.
Yeah.
You ready to come in the inside? Because
Yes.
it's freaking cool.
Yes, show us the MTV cribs.
Again, insulated steel door. This is the steel. It's flush to the ground. The mobile home door is sitting usually about 2.5 inches above because it's sitting on a tube. But the steel door is the way to go, guys. I know it costs a little bit more, but it's the way to go. The mobile home door is it's just a cost-effective option that's still available. We still offer it just in case, but I know like 99% of our clients usually get the steel door. This is a home gym, guys. I kind of feel like getting my workout in right now. So again, this is 30 by 65. So we got 1,800 square feet in the inside. And then the lean-to is like 10 by at least like an extra 600 square feet. So overall, we're sitting at about 2,400 square feet. Insulated with the 1-inch spray foam all the way around.
You just feel the difference. I mean, walking from outside, it's a little hot outside, not too hot, but man, here's just a lot cooler. Wow.
Yeah, so one thing to keep in mind, your insulation is not gonna it's not gonna make your building cooler or hotter. It's just gonna control what's in here, okay? So the air that's in here is gonna stay in usual typical temperature, okay? 1-inch spray foam is good for like this environment. You can put an AC and it will still cool it off, right? But just keep in mind that if you're gonna do like a interior space, you're gonna do like say an office in here, you put some framing, you might still wanna fill it in with some fiberglass bat insulation to get the R values needed. Because again, 1 inch is only R7, okay? Residential codes call for like 30 on the roofs and the walls from like, I believe 14 to like 19 or 20 something. It depends the zone, the area, okay? So just keep that in mind. R7 is just good for like a nice, like this type of scenario, just to keep control. You're gonna be in here, in and out. You're not in here constantly. Then I recommend to get higher R values to get a really good performance of thermal control in here. So.
Awesome, and
go ahead.
One question I did want to ask you, Abdul. It's black. It's the color is insane. And was it always black, or did the customer, you know, how was that whole process?
So our client did ice gray. That was the original color we did. Because usually what happens is we'll spray foam the building, okay, and we'll let it dry. And usually everything's already prepped. So the biggest thing with spray foam is you gotta prep really well, okay, so where the whole flooring is covered. We came in the next day and we painted it with ice gray color. But then after that, our client just didn't feel like they were really enjoying the ice gray. They liked the paint, they just weren't enjoying it. They said, you know what, can we do black?
Wow.
Let's do the black. I feel like it would be way better for the experience inside and having our gym. And to be honest, I love dark gyms. Like I just love it. And I understand them. So that's what they got here, and it looks phenomenal. And the spray foam application here is really, really good. It's construction, nothing's gonna be perfect. It's construction, there's always something that comes up. But the biggest thing that we focus on is we just gotta have high standards. And so that's just our mindset. You know, we just set high standards to make sure that we deliver the best possible outcome. You know, we shoot for perfection, but we probably land at excellence. So you can see the transom windows are bringing in natural lighting.
Yes.
Okay, so natural lighting it also helps, and I wish I could turn off all the lights just to see how the natural lighting is helping. Oh, there it is.
Wow. Ah.
See, there's natural lighting here. And obviously the glass door really makes a huge difference. And then let's turn on the lights again.
Let there be light.
Let there be light, like Ernesto would say. There is UFO lights. Again, we don't offer electrical yet. We are offering, I think there is a project coming up where we will showcase our very first electrical project that we did. We did a phenomenal job. But here our client has UFO lights. And if you can see, he runs 2 UFO lights almost every 15 to 20 feet, okay? And there's enough lighting here. If you like this type of lighting, this is how the outcome of it. Again, 12-foot eaves, I think it's good lighting.
It's insane. I mean, you can get a great workout in. And so the overhead doors, we have one glass door here and then one here. Talk to us about the glass door here. And it's sitting on high tracks, I believe so, right?
Yes, correct. So let's talk about this one first. Here, this is 10 by 12, right? So the eave is 12 foot tall. The tracks, the standard tracks will go full, like a nice 90 degree, okay? Just back. You can see that it doesn't obstruct. That's one of the negatives of overhead doors is like it can take up overhead clearance. And we're gonna explain that in this one. This is the steel back and this is the R10 overhead door. I definitely like it over, a little bit more over the vinyl backing. The vinyl backing through time, you can see a little bit of just wrinkling that can happen. It's just normal, but just keep that in mind, just letting you guys know. Steel backing is just the way to go for something that's just a long term. All our notch detail, I know for our concrete here, because this is the same storage space, same level, all this planned out to make sure that the experience is great for the concrete and making sure there's no water. But here is where we're talking now about the overhead door. But the biggest thing in your question here is the tracks.
Yes.
So this is a 9x8, okay? The door ends right about right here. If we had the regular tracks, it would have gone like right here. Wow. So you're talking about something that's obstructing the overhead space.
I see.
I'm gonna open it. What we have here is a follow the roof line tracks. Okay, it's gonna cost a little bit more. It's gonna cost like from $800 to like $2,000, depends the size. The custom track that we have to build is called a follow the roof line, which follows the roof line. You're gonna see it go, set, go. Look how smooth it goes. The mount is gonna be on the sides, guys. We don't do mounts on the, like typical residential, mounted onto like drywall ceiling. We always do the side mounts, okay? So always plan for that for an outlet for having a side mount, okay? Usually it can be on the left or right. Okay, so that one's on the right, this one's on the left.
Wow.
Okay, but you see the track, how it went up there?
Yep, it went up.
Just straight following the roof line.
I see.
Okay, and it's totally worth it for any doors that you have on the side. Any doors on the side, I recommend that. Unless, you know, this was 12 foot tall, then, you know, it's still, if you just went straight, it might not take up a lot. One thing to keep in mind though is, especially if you're gonna get your own overhead doors, it doesn't happen often with us. We usually have really great deals for our overhead doors. But I know, let's say you're not getting with us, but you're building somewhere out, you're watching our channel to learn more about a metal building. Do keep in mind with overhead doors, the clashing. Okay, we've had a client where they got their own overhead doors and they clashed, so he had to limit how much one door could open because of the clashing, and he already had the frame outs.
Wow.
Okay?
Yeah.
That all gets planned out in our planning department. In our planning department, they make sure that there's no clashing. All those things are checklist. It's a checklist that we go through. Hey, clashing. Oh, no, we're all good. This.
Well, I wanted to ask you a question. Is this one of your top 5 tubular builds?
It's actually in my tops.
Your tops,
it definitely is. I love the uniqueness. I love the just how different it is. Yeah. How the whole square footage is maximized using the building, but having a lean-to, and then there's gonna be a storage space, a man cave, the spray foam, the cedar accents. It's beautiful.
And that's the beauty again with our, you know, WolfSteel design. You know, you're just able to customize your building to whatever you wanted to fit, right?
That's the beauty of metal buildings in general. And that's why I think maybe barn dominium's got a lot of popularity, is because you can customize it. You can run all the weight load on the top to create big open spaces. And with metal buildings, it's so customizable. You can, you know, like what we did here, we did a nice storage rooms. We break to create a nice porch here. That's the beauty of your metal building, is you can customize it your way. What you see in our designer is not take it or leave it. There's so much customizations that can be done to your metal building to you know, to accomplish your dream shop.
Wow. You said it the best.
What was interesting was that our client did mention that they, you know, because we're in Fort Worth, Texas. We're based out of Fort Worth. We fabricate our tubular metal buildings in Weatherford, Texas. Our client did say that they were searching locally and they couldn't get this specific design done by a local builder, which was interesting because most metal builders can do a lot of customizations as well. So it's not like that's what makes us different. What makes us different is that we do mostly turnkey, like concrete, cedar. We're getting into electrical. We do spray foam and we warranty the whole project. So that is what maybe could have been that we did different. But overall, that's the beauty of metal buildings in general, is that you can customize it your way.
Wow.
Now for what everyone has been waiting for is, what is the final price for this whole project? Now you're seeing that, okay? The price for this project is including everything you're seeing, from concrete, the building, the spray foam, the cedar encasements, all the custom doors. Okay, so just think of that this is the whole project, but you can always customize it to make it work to fit your budget. Just keep that in mind. Again, that includes materials and delivery and installation in our service area. Okay, so check out our service area so you know that we only service parts of Texas, not all of Texas. Hopefully we can expand and help a lot more families with their bills. But unfortunately right now, this is the only coverage area. And if you are in the area, give us a call. Give us a chance to see what we can do for you. Now, you've seen the features, you've seen the price. Now, every project has a story, okay? And I love stories because it really allows someone to really see what is the experience of doing a build in general, just in general. And Ed, you're the man for that. Take it from here.
Our client needed a garage, office, and additional storage space. As you saw, we made it all happen. But as we know, it's not a walk in the park. Our client's idea was a bold 30'x65 tubular metal building built strong enough to function as a garage, office space, and storage space with a full lean-to. One side of the lean-to would provide more storage, while the other would serve as a compact office, a setup that gave him flexibility without wasting space. That's when Anthony and Kenneth from our Texas Logos crew stepped in to help shape his vision into reality. But as you guys know, all the recent projects we had in the channel were being heavily affected by the non-stop rain we had here in Texas back in the beginning of the year. Another thing that we have been seeing a lot more often here in Texas is permitting. This project started back in January, but this one here was no exception. Before we could get started, we had to navigate a maze of city regulations, detailed permitting requirements, and back-to-back inspections. So how do we push through all of it and get here? Let's take a closer look. This project was located in the city of Abilene, which meant one thing: permitting and inspections were going to be part of the process. Now, every city is different, and their timelines aren't something we can control. For this project, the required inspections included a foundation inspection before any concrete could be poured, a framing inspection once the structure was up, and finally, a building inspection to close it all out. Like I mentioned, the journey started back in January when the client first reached out, but after the site visit, we had to go through permitting, and that process took time. The permits weren't approved until late March, and that's when the real work could begin. From there, Cypre kicked off. But of course, Mother Nature wanted to say. As mentioned, heavy rains in late March and early April kept the pad too wet for us to move forward, so everything had to be pushed back until late April. His client also had plumbing and electrical going into the slab, which meant another step before we could pour. Anytime a client plans for plumbing or electrical, it's important they let us know up front so we can work that into the schedule. From there, we usually coordinate with their contractor, let them know our timeline so they can get out on site and finish the work before we move forward. The city required what's called a rough-in inspection, basically checking all the underground pipes before they get covered up. Once the inspector approved it, we filled the dirt back over the pipes to lock them in place. After that, our concrete crew were able to set the rebar and vapor barrier for the final inspection. And once that cleared, it was finally time to pour concrete. The concrete was poured on May 13th, and after about 10 days of curing, it was time for the building installation. By early June, the structure was standing tall, and once it passed its final inspection, we moved on to the finishing touches, the details that really complete that project. As you can see, that included the cedar encasements, overhead doors, and spray foam insulation. The client chose custom overhead doors, and as with anything custom, there is a little bit of wait for those to arrive. Now let's talk about the cedar encasements. As you can see from the tour, these can be used both on tubular and red iron buildings. We wrapped the steel posts with cedar boards to give the building a warm, finished look, while still letting the steel handle the structure's strength. It's a simple touch that adds a lot of character. Once the cedar was complete, we moved on to the overhead doors. These usually go toward the very end, after the building is finished and sealed, so they're protected from all the early construction work. And then came the spray foam. As you can see from the photos, the client originally went with ice gray, but once it was applied, the client and his wife realized that lighter color wasn't the look they wanted. Since they planned on turning this space into a home gym, they wanted a darker, bolder look to set the tone. So they had us repaint the spray foam in black, and as you can see from the B-roll, that decision completely transformed the interior. Definitely the right move if you ask me. Now it's worth noting, repainting the spray foam did come with an additional cost, since it required extra material and labor. But for the client, it was absolutely worth it to get this space to look and feel exactly how they envisioned it. And just like that, months of planning, inspections, weather delays, and fine-tuning every detail led us to this moment. The building you see here today. From vision to reality, it's all part of the process, and the results speak for themselves. And just like that, months of planning, inspections, weather delays, and fine-tuning every detail led us to this moment. The building you see here today. From vision to reality, it's all part of the process, and the results speak for themselves.
There you have it, Pack. Weather, permits, and just some challenges to get this project done. But overall, at the end of the day, we're not just about building walls and roofs. We build options, okay? So we can do a lot of customizations, and I hope this building gave you a lot of ideas and inspiration on what you can use your building for and how you can design it and how it can be done. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed this, guys. And don't forget to give us that subscribe button and like it, and leave us any comments, any questions, any concerns. Leave them in the comments and we'll get to them. Aside from that, guys, we'll see you guys at the next showcase building.
What's up, Pack? Remember to stay up to date with everything that we're up to by checking out our social media. You can find us at WolfSteel Buildings for behind the scenes action. We share our latest projects, update on what the team is working on, and all the exciting progress happening in real time. Don't miss out on the action, and remember to give us a follow.